Oh no, the camera's on. You guys are watching. That means I can't avoid this anymore. I have to tell you guys. I have to spill the beans. I have to open up. I have to be vulnerable. Oh, this is I am me, being all that I can be. Okay, that made me feel a little better. Today is going to be my first ever story time, honey boo. I'm nervous because I haven't thought about this or talked about this in a while, and I kind of wanted to push it out of my memory and never remember it again. I mean, honestly, it's gonna be there for the rest of my life. I've been saying this a lot on like YouTube and Instagram, how this year, it seems like I'm not the only one that 2021 has been like craziness for a lot of people, and I guess, I don't know, are we all going through it this year? I know for me personally, in January, it wasn't the happiest month for me because I lost a very close friend, one of my first guy friends in high school, and that was like the first time someone close to me like that had passed. I have anxiety of stuff like that happening. That's why I feel like I'm always a grateful person. I wake up very happy and grateful because I know like that something could happen, you know? And it's inevitable. As you grow up, you unfortunately lose people, or I'm just not, okay, I'm not trying to get too dark, but I'm aware of that. So every day I'm so happy, like knowing if I wake up and I know everybody around me and close to me are good, I feel like, whew, okay, good, you know? So anyways, when that happened, it was very surreal time, and I actually went to my first funeral, and it was like an open casket. It was just like a lot. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but that's what happened. And then also my grandmother, who was like my second mom, like one of the closest people to me in my life. Like don't even know how I would be able to live without her. That's how close I am to her. She had to get surgery for a blood cancer that she has been going through for a while now, and she was able to find a transplant, which is good, you know, to get her surgery. So it was just yeah, rough being there for her as much as I can, with us being distant, because I was actually supposed to go out there to California, which is where I'm from, to be with her and, you know, take care of her and help her heal after she got her surgery and everything out of the hospital. But obviously with the times that we're in, I would have had to like go through a whole long procedure, and obviously, you know, we want to be safe, but I would have had to get tested multiple times, quarantine. It was gonna be a lot. So that's one thing that was just like a major thing that's been like, you know, on the back of my mind for the longest time, and I've been dealing with it. By the way, I really want to thank everyone who supported her and donated to her GoFundMe, because she does have a GoFundMe. I'm not really good with asking for stuff, and it was really hard for me to do this, and I honestly didn't want to, but I know my grandma can use all the help that she can get, and will really appreciated it. So that was a big out of my comfort zone, but I am so like overwhelmed in a sense with how many of you guys reached out and gave whatever you had, and that just shows your heart. Like, you guys two people like you make the world a better place, honestly. And I just wish to be like you guys and be able, you know, I try to give back when I can, but people like you guys who just out of the kindness of your heart, you're just doing something for someone that you don't even know. Just keep doing that. Keep being you, and just know the world needs more people like you, and you don't know how much of a small impact you're making in people's lives. And I aspire to be that kind and that just caring. And thank you so much. Thank you. So all that happened, and despite all of that, I turned 25. I still wanted to try to celebrate my birthday, but I was, you know, still going through other stuff. But I was trying to celebrate my birthday, because when you're going through the most things, and when you don't really want to, that's when you really need to take care of yourself and enjoy yourself. So I had a great birthday, and my mom, she wanted to make me a cake, and she had gifts ready for me. So I wanted to stop by my mom's house so she can give me my gift and then give me the cake, because I know that they've been safe, and that's like the only people I see. I don't see anybody else. So I finally went to go see them. Me and my boyfriend get ready to leave. My mom gives me my cake. I have like the cake container. And then when we get to the car, my boyfriend's like, "Do you want me to put the cake in the back seat or in the trunk, or something like that," he said. And I was like, "No, it's fine. I'll hold it." I didn't want it to accidentally fall or whatever. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll hold it." And so that was fine. So we're on our way to... I had to go turn my rice off because it was cooking in there. I really shouldn't be cooking in another room. I should stay near my food because I have a tendency to burn things, but I just put it on low, so hopefully we're all good. Anyway, so we get in the car. We're on the way home, but my boyfriend wants to stop by the grocery store so he can pick up some food to cook him something for the next day. One thing I do remember is like just being in the car, and honestly just like in my head, like looking out the window. Like sometimes when you get into your thoughts, you're just thinking, and I was thinking like, man, how much I needed that. And I was just like thinking in the whole car, like how everything was so perfect. Perfect meaning, for one, I had a way better birthday than I thought I would, due to, because of the times we're in. I kind of expected not to have high expectations, but it turned out way better than I thought. And number two, because I have a tendency to overthink everything, and I'm also not good with feeling happy on my birthday. For some reason, I care too much about other people, and I'm always concerned about other people's birthdays and other people having a good time. And then when it gets to my birthday, I want to be like a control freak about it. I just think about everything going perfect, which ends up messing up my own mindset to actually just being and enjoying my birthday. So for the first time in a while, for the first time in a lot of my birthdays, I felt like I didn't have to think about anything. Like, my mom did her thing, my boyfriend did his thing. Everything was planned out. I didn't even have to think, which was good because I had already was dealing with a lot. So it was just nice feeling genuine happiness and love, and that's it. And another thing about me, which may be linked to my anxiety, is because my mind is always going, I feel like I don't have moments like that of just like calm happiness. That's what I want to say. The happiness of just me just being in my head and thinking about how happy I am, instead of thinking like, okay, what all these like, okay, what if, or is it perfect, blah, 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 being into my head or whatever. So when those times happen, I'm suspicious, because I'm like, this is too good to be true. These feelings are too good to be true. I mean, and I have those feelings in my life a lot, like when I'm with my boyfriend and we're having an amazing time, or when I'm with my family, or even if I'm doing good in my personal life or work life, or even whatever on YouTube or posting or whatever. I'm always like, if something's going really, really well, I'm like, this is too good to be true. Like, I don't feel comfortable in accepting that. And I'm always scared that something is going to happen to mess it up, because I just feel like for some reason I can't just have a great things happen to me without something else happening, like bad happening, to kind of balance it out. In a sense, I feel kind of bad talking about this because I understand the times that we're in, and I kind of really didn't even want to be talking about how great of a day I had on my birthday, because, and this is another thing, like, it's like I can't just enjoy, because it's like I'm concerned, because I know that a lot of people weren't able to see their families, but I feel like it's important for me to put this in the story to kind of share the real feelings that I was feeling, which will tie everything together and everything like that. So I hope this doesn't make anyone feel any kind of way. If it does, I understand, and I understand if you can't continue watching, or I understand. But I just want to add that, and I just feel like selfish in a sense, but I promise this not coming off any kind of way. Overthinking again. Like how I was so grateful and happy that I was able to enjoy my birthday. Oh, and then I remember my boyfriend asking me, because we're getting near our place. He was like, do you want me to drop you off because I'm going to be going to the store, and I know we've been out, so he probably didn't think I wanted to go to the store with him, but I was like, no, it's fine, like, I'll go with you. But I guess he was going to go to a store that was before our place, like before he got close to our place, but I guess in his mind, he thought he was going to be dropping me off, but then I was like, it's fine. So then he ended up changing his mind to go to another store. I don't know if this detail matters, but let's just say, okay. Anyways, I'm still in my head like, oh, today was just an amazing day. Like, I just love my mom. My mom goes out of her way to like make me the perfect cake, and she actually made 2 cakes because this was a different recipe that she had, and it's hard for me to eat different stuff because I have a lot of allergies and other stuff that I have to worry about. So she made 1 cake, it didn't turn out good, so she made another, and she just did so much, and I was just so grateful and just so happy. I'm just thinking all about this, and then it was rainy too. It was raining. I remember that. You know, my boyfriend was driving and listening to music, and I was thinking at one point that he was driving a little too fast in the rain. Side note, my boyfriend is very much a car enthusiast. He's just very into cars and the car culture and all that stuff like that. So he is safe, but he has a sports car. Sometimes he likes to drive and push it a little bit sometimes. Which, yeah, I let him have his fun to an extent, as long as I feel safe. But yeah, I did notice, you know, that he was driving a little faster than I would have in the rain. But I really didn't say anything. I was just still in my head. And then I think like maybe a few minutes after I had that thought, we were going past this light, and then all of a sudden he's driving, and the last thing I remember, there's a car coming to the left of us. And, you know, there's been times where I've, like, saved myself from getting in an accident, or sometimes you were, like, so close to getting an accident, but you were able to avoid it, or do a hard break, or the other person did one. Like, you had a little split of a second that you felt like you had control over the situation, that you were able to get out of it. There's been so many moments like that for me. I mean, I like to say I'm a great driver, but, you know, other people, you just never know. People be driving cray-cray sometimes. But this seemed so different. Like, it wasn't a period after. It was just like everything was happening, and that's it, and it happened. Like, there was, like, no and. There was, like, no, like, no second. It was just, like, motion, like, boom. So I just remember seeing the car randomly coming, because, like, it was, like, we were driving and then it wasn't there. It could have literally just fell out of the sky, honestly. It wasn't really busy on the streets either, so it was just weird. And yeah, so I remember a car coming, and then I just remember boom, that little sound. It was quick. It was like boom. Or like, yeah, it was like boom. I'm trying to remember. But I swear my brain, I don't know if this is true about brains, like do they discard traumas or something? Because I feel like I can't remember too much of it. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just remember that, and then it was quiet. It was silent. Mind you, like I said before, there was music playing. I was in my head. I was just, oh, head over happy. And then boom, and then silent. I felt like the car kind of swerve a little bit, but as soon as it stopped, the only thing in my mind was get out the car. Obviously, I thought of my boyfriend, but I couldn't remember this until, I'll tell you guys later. But I don't know if you guys will remember, if any of you watched my vlog where I was celebrating my boyfriend's birthday a while back ago, and I like showed a clip of a dash cam, which I actually got him a dash cam last year for his birthday, and I got it because I know that he is into the car culture, and at one point he was thinking about like showing videos of him and his car and just getting into all that. So I wanted him to have it for that, and for 2, just in case anything happened, Lord forbid, but just in case, so anything would have been like recorded or whatever. Not thinking that we were gonna be the ones that actually needed it in the future, which is crazy. But yeah, so crazy enough, we got everything on footage. And it's crazy because I got him 2 cameras. One for the outside, and there was another one that recorded us on the inside, which we had for a long time, but he eventually took it off because he wanted to like put it somewhere else in the car. So that's crazy because we would have had our like inside reaction, which I don't know if it would have recorded that because everything just got messed up on the inside of the car, but it recorded the outside and it recorded everything. For some reason, I feel like I remember my boyfriend telling me something or something like that, so I knew he was okay, but I had to get out the car.
I'm okay. You okay? You okay?
I think so.
The light was green, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I'm 100% sure it was.
This goes back to the control thing. I'm a person that has to, which I'm working on this because I understand that that's not realistic to have control over everything, but because I have anxiety, it's like if I don't have control over a situation, that's when my anxiety skyrockets. So I had to not be in the car. First off, because I didn't know if the car was so messed up that it would have blew up. Like, I have crazy thoughts. Again, maybe it goes to my anxiety and my worry. I always think of the worst possible outcome of things. So I'm thinking if I stay in this car, it could blow up. I don't know where we are, somebody could hit us. Like, it's the scariest thing being enclosed in a car. It was dark too. Like, so all the airbags were deployed and everything, so you couldn't see out any windows. I didn't know where I was, so I was like, I gotta get out the car. Not thinking about myself. Oh, I'm thinking about this and getting kind of scared. I do remember like dripping from somewhere, so I just was like trying to get out. I was just trying to get out the car, and I remember like just trying to take off my seatbelt, and then there was airbags everywhere, so I had to like try to get out of there. And thank the Lord, my side of the car open, so it was like a split second I was out of that car. Like, I just had to get out. I have always heard the term fight or flight. Like, I always felt bad because I always knew in my mind I was maybe a flight person, but because it's like I would want to be that fight person, but the anxiety in me is like flight, and I felt that to my core. Once that car stopped, I was not about to get stuck in that car. That's when the anxiety would have came and everything would have been bad. And I don't know, from movies or stuff like that, but I always hear that if you like let your body relax. I was just like, I didn't know what state I was in, so I was like, I'm not about to let whatever just happened control me. My body, whatever adrenaline, or I'm gonna wake my body up and I'm gonna move. I need to get in control. That's what it is. I felt like I needed to gain control of the situation, and the only way I could do that was to get out of that car and continue on. And so I was just not about to let myself get comfortable or sit in that car or whatever. My mind, I would have messed myself up and probably caused myself to become more sick because I would have went into a state of panic and had a panic attack. It would have been terrible. So I just had to do that. For sure. And it's funny because me and my boyfriend talked about it afterward, and he was just so amazed. He was like, man, it was crazy. You got out of that car the instant and stopped. He was surprised when I was trying to get out. And that's what made him feel like I was okay, because he hadn't seen my face or anything like that. He didn't know I was bleeding or whatever. He just knew I was the first to get out of the car, so he was like, dang, she must be fine. But that wasn't really the case. My body was in react mode. So I got out, and then apparently I found this out afterwards, talking with my boyfriend. Apparently my boyfriend's side of his car was messed up, so his door didn't even open, so he had to crawl out of the car on my side, and he did that as soon as I got out. But I didn't know that. All I remember is getting out the car, turning around, and he was already out. Yeah, so that happened, and I was just, and distraught. I was very confused. It was raining. It could have been like a crazy scene in a movie. I remember feeling like some drops somewhere coming from my face, And I think I was trying to film myself and trying to check myself and see if I was okay. But I knew somewhere on my face I was bleeding, which was probably one of the scariest moments besides actually getting into the accident was the after. Like, so once I, my adrenaline was pumping and I got out the car and I made it and I was like, okay, I'm out. And then I turned around and I saw my boyfriend and I'm like, okay, he's out and he's fine. And I'm just looking at him, but I'm still dripping blood and stuff like that. And I'm now realizing the aches and the pains and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta check myself. Because it's like, I always, again, movies, this is the only thing I have to resort to. But I remember, like, sometimes when your adrenaline is pumping, you don't realize that you're hurt. And then because my face is feeling all kind of sore and I'm bleeding, I'm like, oh my gosh, my teeth. And then I check it. So I'm like checking my teeth, like using my tongue to like check my teeth. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I got all my teeth. But I know my face is just busted up. I don't know what it looks like, but I just feel it. And then I'm just like, checking my body, checking my breathing, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, such a relief when I knew, for the most part, nothing was broken. And, my only concern may have been if I had a concussion, but I was so, like, that's scary. That's really scary. And man, words can't express to you how freaking blessed and grateful like it was to film myself and know I was okay, because I don't even want to get into it, but very grateful. Plus it was raining, so it was hard to really figure it out. But then I think I like wiped my face or wiped my nose, and then I noticed my nose was bleeding. My boyfriend like tried to go up to the car to the people that that was impacted. And I was just like, what are you doing? No, like, don't do that, because, you just never, I didn't know whose fault it was at that point. And, times like this, I don't know, you just can't trust people. I don't know how I ended up having his phone. So I had his phone. I don't really know what to do in an accident. I've never had an accident. So I thought of calling his mom for some reason, because I didn't know where my phone was. So I ended up trying to call his mom, and then I gave him his phone. He told me after, he's like, I don't know why you had me calling my mom's phone. He ended up taking that off and calling, the police, and I ended up calling my mom eventually. Just like being scared and telling her, because I just left her house, and just telling her that I got into a car accident. And one thing about me is, I don't really talk about it much on my channel, because I feel like anxiety has become like a well-known common thing that most people like talk about. And I never wanted to be like that person that just, talks about it like, hey guys, I have anxiety too. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but I just didn't want to like come out and be like, hey, I'm another person with anxiety, like kind of generalizing it. I don't know how to describe it, but I actually struggle with anxiety, something that I've been working on for years now. It can get really bad to where I have anxiety attacks. I've had multiple like anxiety panic attacks, and it's not a fun thing at all. You feel like your body and your mind and everything goes into a state of panic. You feel like you may actually like die. I know that's how I feel. But anyways, the things that I do when I have an anxiety attack, or I'm in that point, is I call either my mom or my grandmother. Those are the two people that if I hear their voice, they know how to say the right things to me, or ask me, to calm me down and give me the right advice to just calm me down. So I call my mom, because my boyfriend was in the meantime talking to the police and everything. And I'm just like scared because my nose is bleeding. I never got a nosebleed before. I just realized after this accident how like prissy my life has been, which is kind of disgusting. Not really, but it's like I haven't gotten like roughed up. I have had like, little falls or stuff like that. Like when I was young, I fell and I had to get stitches because I hit my, so different stuff like that. But I guess as I got older, I didn't like do anything rough, and didn't have any like major accidents, I guess you'll say. So yeah, it was just weird, like, and then I noticed the side of my body was hurting, like my hip was hurting like so bad, and the side of my face didn't feel good at all. The side of my head right here was hurting. So I was just big mess. After waiting for a while, my body did start reacting, and anxiety, was starting to react, but I was trying my best to just calm myself and keep calm because, like I said, I knew if I would have let my anxiety get the best of me, I would have just been a mess. And I didn't know what was going on in my brain or anything. I didn't know if I was just messed up. I just didn't want my anxiety to cause more damage to however I felt. So I was just trying my best to just breathe and be okay. But because I was so in my head and trying my best to be just breathe, I felt like my body was reacting. And then one thing that happens to me if I have anxiety, if I'm going through an anxiety attack, my body would shake. I'll start to shake uncontrollably. Now that could have been a mix of everything, you know, what just happened, my anxiety, the fact that it was raining, I was freezing cold, I didn't have a jacket or whatever. Just so many things, shock, you know, panic, whatever. So, but I was just shaking so much. I remember that. And I felt like at that point, like I had called my mom just to tell her everything and she told me she was about to be on her way. But I think I called her like 1, 2, 3 more times. Yeah, I think I called her maybe a couple more times and then I just stayed on the phone with her because it's like just her being there. Like once I, like what I said about my anxiety, my mom and my grandma, you know, are just hearing their voices, and they just know the things to say to like calm my mind, and it kind of kept me in touch with reality because my mom was okay and everything was okay, and it was just like two sides, you know, like I'm going through this craziness, but my mom is like the normal part of reality that, you know, was a part of, if that makes sense. And I was just hoping that I didn't have to go to the hospital because I don't like hospitals. Like I appreciate everybody in there that works, but just with the current state we're in, I didn't want to have to go. Also, I didn't want to I just never had to go to the hospital before for something like that. So it was just like really scary. Then after my boyfriend got off the phone with the police officers, he came to me. He saw me. He was so emotional. Like, I'll just say that he was like, he didn't know that I was hurting like that. He was just holding me. He was just saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm just, that's how it was. Very discombobulated and like, was this really happening? And it honestly felt like a scene out of the movie. Like we're in the rain, getting soaked. My hair, I'm looking like the Grudge, which is not, I mean, it's funny to look back on now, but I'm just like, my hair is all up to the front of me, so I'm like looking like the Grudge over here. I think my boyfriend ended up taking a picture. Because one thing about me is I'm not really good at, when I'm in moments, the last thing on my mind was recording or taking a freaking picture. But my boyfriend, I mean, he ended up taking one before we left of the car. And him, but in the background, I don't think he noticed I was in there, and I looked such like a little sad little umbrella girl, because I was just in the rain, and my hair was just down, but yeah, he was like messed up seeing me like that, because he didn't even realize, like I said, because I was the first to get out of the car, it seemed like I was Superwoman, it seemed like I was okay. He was just really like emotional overseeing me, because for the crazy thing is, I was the one that looked the worst. He didn't even look like he didn't have any injuries except for like a tiny little paper, maybe smaller than a paper cut on his finger, even though his side got impacted. Yeah, so he came to me, he was just like super emotional, asked me questions, am I okay? He would just say, I'm so sorry, baby, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking like, I don't want to hear anything from him right now. I want to know what happened. Because, like I said, before then, all I remember is that he was driving a little bit faster than he probably should have in the rain. And I was just like, please, Lord, don't let this have been his fault, because if that's the case, I'm going to be so mad, and it's just going to not be good at all. So he was just telling me this, and in my head, I was just like, first of all, I had a lot going on. I was just shooken up, and then, yeah, I didn't really want to hear anything that he had to say. I was just like, in my head, like, okay, I just want to know what happened. So eventually the police ended up coming and checking, and then the paramedic came and they checked me to see if I had a concussion, which I never had before, and I was so scared that I was gonna have one, because I think the term is hypochondriac. I get very scared. Is that the word? I don't know. That's probably not. don't know. Whatever the thing is where you fear getting sick or fear things happening to you, and I do. Like, I fear, I'm such a baby sometimes when it comes to that. Like, I fear, like, having to go to the hospital for something. Because I feel like then any minor thing, like, even if I get a concussion, then I, like, fear of the worst outcome. Like, what if I get a brain damage? And then what if blah, 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 you know? So that's how I am. I guess after they checked me, it didn't seem like I had a concussion, but I was really beat up in the face, and I was like still bleeding. I was trying to, you know, keep my nose back and not bleed as much. But I decided I didn't want to go to the hospital when they asked me, because I wanted to make sure for myself that I was okay. And the fact that I was the first person to get out the car, the fact that I seemed like I was okay. I just wanted to go home first. Plus, we were close to where I live, so I was like, let me just, if I can get home and I could check myself and see if I'm okay, then I would decide. But I just didn't want to go because I didn't know, you know, and that costs money. And plus, I don't like that. Anyways, fast forward, skip too much detail. Oh, let me tell you, so when I got out the car, I did look at the other car because they were some ways out, and it was like a truck, and the person that sat in the back seat opened their door because I was trying to look to see if they're okay, and they opened their door, and it was like, I don't know, he was maybe my age or something, I don't know, but he asked if we were okay. So I was like, yeah. Or he was like, yeah, did like a thing like, are you okay? Or I think I asked him, are they okay? I don't remember, but we exchanged that, so that made me feel a little better, because that meant that they were okay, that they weren't like any super messed up. And then that meant that was good for me, because since they talked to us, that means that they didn't have any anger or something towards us. So that was like, whew. So anyways, after the police officers came and they investigated everything, they found out that, thank the Lord, it wasn't our fault. They were making an illegal turn, the other people, and they didn't see us, I guess, because it was raining. And yeah, and then that's when they hit us. So they were at fault. And I was so happy because I was going to be so pissed at my boyfriend. So my mom ended up coming to pick us up after we were sitting out there waiting in the rain for like what seemed like 30 minutes to maybe an hour. It was cold and I was just shaking extremely, like I couldn't stop shaking. And my boyfriend was just hugging me. We didn't have our jackets because I think I left my jacket at my mom's, and we didn't need our jacket because we didn't plan on being outside. So we were just freezing, and we were just holding each other for warmth. And then at one point, the police or the fire department person or something like that, I don't know, firefighter guy came and gave me his jacket, which was really cool and nice. And then there was people obviously like driving by. Some people like asked if we were okay. One lady gave us an umbrella. There was this one man that was like the witness. He was there when everything happened. He got out of his car and was like, are we okay? Like, look, checking in on us. And this guy is crazy because this guy didn't have a mask. Of course he's not going to have a mask on. We didn't even have our mask on. We had our mask in the car, but the car was so messed up. And I also was thinking that in the back of my head. And on top of everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is COVID. All these people were talking to me, getting exposed to it. I'm just like freaking out. But also, I'm also like, okay, well, whatever happens, let's hope not. But we're hurting. Like, so am I going to go into the car and try to find the mask or whatever? But it's funny because I had that in the back of my head too. But yeah, the guy was very generous, and he said he would like be a witness for us and everything. It was just nice to see people like reach out, and it honestly made me be like, you know, I want to do that more, because you know, I've seen a lot of accidents and I never would have thought to like ask if the people are okay, only because I'm like freaked out because of that stuff. Like I would hate to like I can't take gory type of things. It like freaks me out. But I know how much it made me feel so good, and like, man, this world is not as bad as people make it seem, you know? And there are a lot of kind and generous people out there. So anyway, so yeah, finally, after waiting for the longest, my mom came. Bless her heart. It took her a while because we didn't live that close to my mom. So it was my mom and my stepdad and my little sister and my stepsister. And then we got in the car. Probably one of my like most emotional parts. I don't know, but this moment will forever be in my mind. So when I got in the car, my stepdad was driving because my mom obviously couldn't drive. Or, you know, my dad or my stepdad. I call him dad, but he is my stepdad. But My dad was driving, and because my mom wasn't able to, and then my boyfriend sat in the passenger side, and then everybody else was in the back of the car. My mom was on one side of me. I remember just being in the car, like I said, I had the shakes, like my body was still shaking uncontrollably. My mom was just rubbing my arm and telling me to just calm down, just breathe. She was like, just breathe, baby, just breathe, just focus on that, just breathe. And I'm over here concerned about my boyfriend, and I'm just concerned about everybody else and asking questions. She's just telling me, just breathe. And then, so she's rubbing my leg or rubbing my arm. I just know she's like comforting me. And then my stepsister is just giving me words of encouragement as well, telling me to breathe. And then she's like rubbing me. And then all of a sudden, I just feel a little tiny hand on me, and then I look, and it's my baby sister. And I think I don't know, I don't remember if she asked me if I was okay or something like that. And I was just like, yeah, but I also didn't want her to see me in that state because, like I said, I was bleeding, but, you know, I mean, on my nose or whatever, but, yeah, but it was like, my heart, in that moment, I felt so, like, I don't know, it just felt like so loved. I felt so loved, and her little pure little self, she just, I guess, seeing everybody else being comforting, her little hand just came onto me, and she's like 3, so it's just funny how that happened. And so she had her hand on me like the whole ride. I think I decided to like touch her hand just to give her like a comfort touch. My hands are usually really cold. I don't know why, but they just are. A lot of the times. And that day, obviously, it was super cold because I was already freezing cold from being outside. So the one time I decided to touch her just to comfort her back or just say thank you. The instant I put my hand on top of her hand, she like pushed her hand back. And I felt so terrible because I'm pretty sure she's like, what the freak? Is this girl a freaking vampire or something? But that was funny. I just wanted to add that moment just because I thought it was funny. But it was so sweet. Joy, when you look back on this in the future, this is something that you would know that you helped me that night, and I love you. They took us home, and immediately my mom and my stepsister rushed me into the bathroom to like check me out, see my face. I just remember looking at myself for the first time. And like scared in a sense. It was like crazy to see once again, I say it's so weird for me to say this because I know there's people who experience worse than this, and I feel like a little like prissy, be like, oh my gosh, my face. But it was crazy because I never seen my face like that messed up before. Mind you, like I said, it could have been so much worse, which I'm so grateful for. Like, I don't even want to talk about that because I could cry, but no, without a doubt, I am very grateful for us being able to walk out of that alive and not have any broken bones, or not have the windshield didn't even like break, thankfully. It could have been so much worse, but yeah, so I was bruised though. Yeah, so they just helped me out, like wiped me up, you know, all the blood and everything like that. And then my mom was just, now that I'm telling this story, I'm hoping I'm telling it fine because I feel like I'm like the worst storyteller. Yeah, so they were wiping me up, and it was my stepsister, which she had experience in. She was in like first response or something like that. She had experience in this type of stuff, so she was just also making sure to recheck me and make sure everything was okay and that I didn't have to go to the hospital, even though everybody was saying I probably should, but I just didn't want to if I didn't really have to. And like I said, I felt like I was fine for the most part, except for just like getting banged up, and then my face being swollen. They just pretty much helped us and telling us advice of what we should do. And just being there, which was really, really nice. Like I said, having my mom there and everybody just made everything feel so much better. So I was so grateful to have them. And then my little sister was there. I remember my boyfriend saying, because he wanted to go and take his clothes off and check himself. But I think right as he was about to do that, my little sister like busted in the room. And then he just immediately like, it brought him joy, which is funny because her name is Joy. But yeah, just having her there to kind of diffuse from what had happened. And she was just like a little kid, little baby. Like, she doesn't really know. She's like 3, so she's like not really understanding what's going on. But after that, a lot of people were telling us that you will feel it after you get into an accident. You will feel very sore. Your body will be sore for, you know, a couple of weeks to like up to a month or whatever. Like, you would definitely feel it. And just to get rest, they told me in particular, because I was the one that got like the most hurt, to make sure I check myself, and if I feel anything like that's super extreme or major, I need to go to the doctor. So I was like, okay, I will do that. So over time, me and my boyfriend did try to do some yoga. My thing was, I just didn't want my body to get so stiff, because even with the pandemic, you know, I haven't been working out and doing as much as I would have liked to. So with that, I just knew that would have messed my body up even more, and I felt so stiff and just pains and aches and pains. And then my boyfriend the next day felt the aches and pains too. So I was like, okay, every day we need to try to like do some yoga, even if it's just a little bit, just to stretch our bodies out. So my boyfriend's not a big fan of yoga, but he did it, you know, with me. And yeah, so we did that. So I felt like by day 3 or something like that, I was okay. Like, again, I was still very stiff. My face was still swollen. Like, the side of my body got impacted because, you know, the car came from this side, so it like got my boyfriend. But I think where they didn't hit, thank goodness, his side of the door. It was like just the front part of the car. So thank goodness. I know that's why he didn't get impacted that much. But I feel like what messed me up was, remember when I said I had that cake, and my boyfriend asked me if I wanted to put it in the back, and I decided to hold it. So yeah, because I had that cake, we ended up going to see the car after at the junkyard to pick up, because we couldn't get everything. I still have my gifts and stuff like that. So our car ended up getting towed because it was like done for. I mean, not our car, my boyfriend's car, which that was like his dream car, his dream sports car that he loved, or one of them, and he was devastated by them. But whatever, you know, materialistic things can get replaced. But yeah, so, but we couldn't get the rest of our stuff, so they just towed the car to a junkyard, and we were able to pick it up after. But we ended up taking pictures of the car because it was dark, so we really couldn't see anything. So just going to the junkyard and seeing everything, the car, and then seeing the cake, the poor cake. We were really devastated about the cake. Like, the cake was so bomb. We were so ready to go home and eat the cake and everything. And, you know, it was just so sad. But yeah, my mom, like, bless her heart, like I said, that was her second time making the dang cake because it messed up the first time. And, but yeah, anyways, skipping over that. What was I saying? Okay, now I'm getting confused. Oh yeah, so like I said, my boyfriend didn't get hurt. My boyfriend had a Subaru car. I don't know if you guys, I know I don't talk about cars on here, so I don't know how familiar you guys are with cars. But the Subaru is like one of the best cars. Well, he had a Subaru WRX, which is a very well-known sports car. And it actually is like the #1 sports car to pass like the crash test. They're the highest rated sports car for a crash test. So that means they passed it with flying colors. They're the safest sports car, pretty much. Even beyond the most expensive ones. We both feel like we were in a different car, it probably would have went a whole lot differently. But let me tell you, that car was just crazy, because I remember when we heard that boom and then it was silent, and then for that split second we realized, okay, the car was stopped. But I remember like feeling not cozy, but kind of like, I don't know if I should say the word safe, because there were so many airbags like surrounding the car. It was just very well made. The car was amazing. So if Subaru's watching this, you guys are great. Thank you for saving our lives and not, you know, causing us more damage. Dang. Oh yeah, dang. It did that. That is wild. That is... Wow. Oh, that's probably where you got a little cut. Dang. It didn't even... That's just crazy. Babe, you know, this is so crazy that... man. Oh, yay, everything's here. Alright, let's go. This is not crazy, babe. That's...
Look at the rearview mirror.
Oh, shoot. Man. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, yeah, so the airbag did. So I guess it didn't hit. It protected you. And then that thing down there, touch your knees.
This is surreal, man. Subaru, y'all do a good job, I gotta say.
We were trying to wonder, like, why was he fine, but I wasn't? It was like because of the airbag, but then it was like, it would have like messed up us both. But then I was like, the cake, because I had like this part of my side was hurting so bad, and like right here, and then I had like two little cuts right here on me, like near my pelvic area, or right under it, and I was just like, the cake, because it was in my lap. So once we like, boom, it was the impact, it must have like, you know, kind of dug into my pelvic area, and then when we went to go to the junkyard to look at the car, we saw that the pieces of the like cake container, the top part was into pieces. It was like all into pieces, so it broke. So I don't know if it like just went into me and like up on me and like maybe hit my face or whatever. I don't know. Like, again, it's weird how the brain just discards that. I don't really know what happened, but I know I was beat up more. So over time, like, it was by day 3 or day 4. This is maybe, I was thinking about if I should put this in on the video, but I don't know why this will help. But let me just add this details, a little TMI, so I'm gonna figure out how I can say it without like grossing out anyone. But there was a moment where my boyfriend and I tried something, okay, if you know what I mean, and then afterwards it didn't feel right, and then I went to the bathroom and I wiped. I noticed that there was some blood, and let me tell you, I wasn't on my period or anything. It was like a little bit lightly, like light blood. And I also checked my calendar immediately, because I keep a calendar on me, which if you're a girl, this is a good idea to keep calendars on you. But my calendar tracks my period, and it tracks the week I'm fertile and the day that I ovulate. So I just know I checked that, and I was fertile that day, but I hadn't reached ovulation yet. Plus I also, well, let me just be honest, sometimes I like forget to track every month or put in every month exactly when my period comes, because my period is pretty regular. Like, it comes either on the exact same day or like a few days after or whatever. So sometimes I just forget to do it because now I kind of know my body. So yeah, I was just like, well, I know I'm close to ovulation, so sometimes I do like spot a little bit sometimes when I'm fertile or whatever, or I'm about to ovulate or I'm ovulating. So I was like, I didn't think too much of it. And then the next day it happened again, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then one day it like something was like in the toilet, like it was like it kind of came. It was just it wasn't a lot, but it was like a little bit of like blood, like I went into the toilet. Like, it was just, when you hear it, it's alarming. But like I said, sometimes this happens to me. Like, sometimes I spot a little bit when I'm close to ovulation. Anyways, but yeah, so let me just say the point of that is I didn't think I needed to go to a doctor until then. So I decided, okay, I need to do this because that's weird. And like I said, because I realized that the cake was on my lap and it hurt me from right there, it could have like really gushed into my pelvic area and messed something up right there. And I was putting those connections together, and I really didn't want to go to the doctor, for one, because I don't like doctors, but for two, if I'm really honest with you guys, I don't have health care. I don't have health insurance anymore. I took it off last year because For the longest, I was paying way too much for health insurance, and I didn't even realize that until like my grandmother told me. And so then I was going through the process of trying to find a new health insurance that was cheaper. But then I messed up last year because I started my health insurance process, but then since it was still too high, I waited too long to figure out to pick a place. So then I kind of messed up a little bit. So yeah, I kind of messed up my health insurance right now, so I don't have it currently, which sucks because, of course, the time that I need it, I don't have it. But thankfully, they have urgent care, so I went to urgent care. And they checked me out, they checked my pee, and they said they didn't see any blood in my pee, which I knew because I wasn't bleeding from there. I was bleeding from the other place, TMI. But they just told me to just see what happens in a couple days or whatever. And they said, you know, if it's normal for me around that time for that to happen, then you know, maybe that's just whatever was happening. But it was still going on, like, even past the fertility. But once again, I was just speculating because I didn't know exactly when I ovulated. Because on my last period, I didn't mark it. So I was just generalizing, saying that I know I was around that time, but I didn't know if it had passed. But whatever. But yeah, it was going on for a good, like, I would say almost, I don't know, it felt like a little bit over a week, which is not usually how it goes. Like if I do spot during my fertility / ovulation time, it would only be for like 2 to maybe 3 days, but not even. So I knew something was weird, but I was just doing a lot of research because I was like, dang it, I don't want to have to go back to urgent care or even have to go to the hospital. Even though it wasn't bleeding a lot, it was just like a little bit. But it was just like weird, you know, for that to happen. Yeah, so I was reading something. I think that I could have had like a hormonal imbalance because of maybe that happening, because of the crash and because of the cake a little bit or whatever. So my hormones down there probably like got shooken up or something. I don't know. But thankfully, eventually it stopped and I'm okay now, okay? So I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, because I was freaking out and, you know, can't mess me up. I don't want to be messed up. And, you know, as much as the thought of having kids scares the crap out of me, I want to still be able to, you know, I don't want to mess that up. Yeah, more of the story is I'm better now and it's been a crazy time. Like, I'm skipping on a whole bunch of details because that's all other personal whatever stuff, but that's what happened. That's what happened to my face. That's why I wasn't filming. Thankfully, I have pre-recorded a lot of videos too, because I had videos I had to do that I was working with brands on. Thankfully, I pre-recorded all those videos and stuff like that, but I just want to say that I love you, Lord. Thank you for looking out for me and my boyfriend, because I know things could have been a lot worse. Let me tell you, like, this is why I'm so grateful for life right here. Although this was like a mini thing that, you know, could have been so bigger, I don't take life for granted at all. A few things that I learned from this is, number one, when you're driving, and I told this to my boyfriend, and he's going to remember this, obviously, but when you're driving, don't get comfortable, especially when it's wet. When it's raining, that's why they say drive cautiously, more cautiously when it's raining, because it's not just about us. Yes, we could be doing the best we can and be the best drivers of our life. We could be the best drivers in the world, but other people, they are the problems, okay? So when it's raining, I just told my boyfriend, you know, who knows what would happen. We're just not going to go there, but this is why it's important to drive cautiously and not get comfortable in the rain. And because your vision is impaired and sometimes, you know, slip, blah, blah, blah. Even though his car is really good for that, like slipping and stuff like that. But like I said, because I'm pretty sure those people didn't see us too, because it was so raining so hard and your vision is impaired and stuff like that. So make sure you guys, when it's raining, period, not even when it's raining, but make sure you are not just watching out for yourself, but you're watching out for everybody else around you. When you're driving, and make sure you're driving cautiously at all times. Make sure you don't have anything in your lap, any big unnecessary thing. That's another thing. I was like, okay, that's definitely not happening anymore. Obviously, I don't want to have to be in any more accidents, Lord, please. Hopefully that's the only one. I mean, I don't know, but it's just like knowing that things happen, you know, in life, and it's just life. This is why I always look at things like things could be worse. You know, when I'm having a bad day or stuff like that. I don't know, maybe that's not a good way to look at it, but it keeps me grateful, it keeps me humble, it keeps me from being like depressed or anything like that when things are going wrong or things are going my way or I feel like I should be somewhere else, like I'm being hard on myself. I just think of everything that I'm grateful for, and it brings me back to in touch with reality and understand that life, I mean, things happen to a lot of people in life all the time. You just never know. So, yeah, that's just it, I guess. This has been a freaking long video, and I'm happy my face is all better now. Oh my gosh. I love you, body, so much. If I could kiss you. If I can kiss you. My hands aren't clean right now, so I'm not going to kiss my hands. Germaphobe. But I love you, body, so much. You are amazing. You are amazing. The human body is amazing. Because Lord knew, oh my gosh, I was going through it. I was freaking out. I was hoping that I was okay. I didn't have, but I'm all good. Everything works again. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to plan out, today is March 1st. I'm going to plan out my month again. We're going to try again. You know, I'm not going to have high hopes because things happen in life. I see, but I'm really hoping I can get back on a regular schedule, posting schedule, you know, posting my 2 to 3 times a week. And doing better, okay? If you watched until the end, you can leave me a heart or anything if you want to let me know. I honestly just want to get this video out. I mean, I care, but I'm just happy this video's done with, and I told you guys, and yeah, I'm ready to, get back to posting my regular videos. Okay, see you guys in my next video. Enough about this. We're gonna move on with life, and that I'm able to even film again and continue this early, you know? Okay, I'm getting awkward. Okay, bye.